The next piece is exercise 19 from page 50 of the Advanced Method for Oboe book. It is from set 1 of the middle school Arkansas All-Region Music. This piece is written in a staccato style. It should sound light and bouncy. I recommend that students start it rather slowly and that they set the metronome with an eighth note pulse. So for example, this is set at 52 with an eighth note pulse. And it's still a little quick for younger students who are starting to learn this piece. So that might be a good tempo to shoot for some of these students. So more advanced students can shoot for a little bit faster, but to actually start, you might even want to slow it down more. Here's 44. And rather than using tut for these staccatos, because it's not a super fast, if you use tut, it will sound very clipped. I just use a tongue. So I don't stop the note, but it's I just let it breathe a little bit. So here's what it would sound like if I used tut. So it sounds very clipped that way, and rather than make it clipped, I like to let it sound a little bouncy, a little more playful. So there's a tuh where it's a puff of air instead of a tut. So let me make this a little bit faster and I'll play through it. So this is at 56, that's about where I'm going to play. The first line, we don't have very many accidentals until the last measure where we have an E natural. The next line gets a little bit trickier for some of these fingerings. So we have to be sure that in that third measure we have a B natural in the first beat and a B flat in the second beat. We have the same thing in the third line with a C sharp and a C natural. And I recommend that students go through and mark in this where you're going to use forked F, where you're going to use your normal F. And that way you won't be caught on the wrong finger at the wrong time. Okay, let's see what my tempo is. So in this, you can see that it's very important to plan where you're going to breathe. In the first line, you might breathe after the F in the fourth measure. In the second line, you can breathe in that last measure. So you can breathe out after the C and in after the D if you're quick. So C, breathe, C out, D in. On the next line, when you have the eighth notes in the second measure, you can catch a quick breath if you need to. Or you could catch a quick breath in the third measure, probably better than the second measure, after the B flat. So, so when you have those eighth notes, it's easier to catch a breath. Don't try to catch a breath in the middle of your 16th notes because you won't have a place to breathe. You may have noticed when I played, I used in the fourth measure of the third line, I used a left hand F, which is this F key. Not all of the middle school oboes are going to have this left F, so you finger an E and then you use this key instead of your normal F key, and if you look, it actually moves the same key, so you can use it in place. If you don't have a left F key, then you're going to want to use a forked F there, and the forked F, so you're going F to E flat. Here's a little trick about the forked F that lots of people don't learn until much later after you've already developed this habit. In your forked F, so 1, 2, 3, 1, and 3, you don't need the E flat key. The E flat key is designed on some oboes to help adjust the pitch, but really it kind of gets in the way because you learn to play with the E flat key, and then when you're going from like forked F to D flat, it's just in the way. So you don't really need the E flat key on forked F. Listen to the difference. And you'll hear when I put the E flat key down, it makes it sharper. And most middle school oboe players don't need to be sharper anyway, so you can play forked F without that E flat. But do mark where your forked Fs are going to be before you play through the piece so they don't catch you by surprise. That is exercise 19.